Let's open this Johnson County redevelopment, or not, sorry, solid waste, sorry, it's a different board, sorry. Johnson County Solid, it's Monday. At 2 p.m. January 12th.
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Mark Myers. Ron West. Susie Quells.
Here.
John Digmars.
Here.
Brian Baird. David Lexi.
Here.
Kevin Walls.
Here.
Sir, we have a quorum.
By the hair of our chinny chin chin.
Thank you all for being live. I appreciate it.
As do I.
Well, not only do I appreciate you're all alive, I appreciate you attending in person.
Easier to suffer out one meeting than come back for another.
That's right.
Okay, first on the agenda is election of officers. Carla, you want to tell us who that is?
Currently, we have Kevin Walls as the chair, Ron West as the vice chair.
No.
Oh,
Mark Myers.
Mark Myers is the vice chair and Ron West is the secretary.
Okay,
I'll make the motion. Are you guys okay? I'll just make a motion. Kevin Walls stays as president, Mark Myers stays as vice president, and Ron West stays as what's he's secretary.
I second that if we need it.
I think there's a legal requirement that if you don't show up, you get appointed. So I think you've done a good motion there. And you guys got.
I know. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Slate stays the same. We're not gonna build a new building in 26, I can guarantee you that. So. Approval of minutes from the September 8th, 2025 meeting.
I move to approve.
I second.
Okay, we got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Motion carries. Miss Angela, you're up. Treasurer's report.
I tried.
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 I came, I went, I picked her up in the car, I said, get in.
Right, right. Okay. So we are looking for approval of claims. The agenda has the dates incorrect. It appears that the dates on the reports are September 9th of 2025 to November 17th of 2025. Your agenda has through the 14th of November.
Does anybody have any questions? Have you had a chance to review it?
Do you need me to tell you the amounts? Do you need me to tell you the amounts?
No, we can look at them here. They're gonna look over them real quick.
Okay.
All right, questions. I move to approve.
Second. Carla, did you get that?
Did you
There
want?
was, there was a motion for an approval and a second.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
I thought.
I made a motion to
I second.
approve it and Susie.
Approve them all or just that date?
All of them.
All of
Okay.
them.
There are some line item transfers on your December 31st report on the back, page 2 of your income statement compared with budget. Are there any questions on those?
Typically in the past, just it's been a new year, so we made it remind, typically what we do is we approve the reports and approve the line item transfers by separate motion.
Okay.
So we have a record of what those line item transfers were.
Those first couple are pretty big ones. I don't know. We might have to study those for a little while.
I also had the same concern.
17 cents.
Was that for the legal department?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
You want to make a
Legal and
motion in a
professional
second,
both.
John? They usually do the line items separate on a second.
Yeah, I'd moved.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second on the line item transfers. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same motion. Motion carries.
Thank you.
And then did we have a vote?
Hold on.
The reports, we did, right? We have a motion and a second, but I don't think we voted on the report.
I don't think we did either.
Okay, all in favor, say, we did, I thought we did.
I did too.
No, we didn't.
We can do it again.
Okay, all in favor?
I believe you.
Aye, aye.
Aye.
Carla, would you
Good.
please show us the line item transfers were unanimously approved first, and then the reports were approved second.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yes,
Hold there for just a second.
yes.
There has been some discussion with Angela not showing up to every meeting. This one, the first of the year, I think is important.
Yes.
What other meetings would you deem necessary for you to be here? Budget?
Well, really, Angela has not been handling the budget,
That's correct.
so. This is, in my opinion, this is the meeting that, because it's the financial opening and closing.
The question I'm asking, she doesn't have to come to every meeting, which in turn, we don't get charged for every meeting, but she can still prepare the documents and bring it. If we have questions, and we can get those answered via email or via the next meeting.
And I might also add, while as a board member, we have to have 4 persons present per statute and our resolution that we passed. There is nothing that prohibits your controller from appearing remotely to answer anything by Zoom if that
Oh,
is,
Okay,
would be.
if we need that.
too,
Yeah,
which
thanks.
It
would
just
save
makes
some
I like
time.
that either way.
Yeah, beats her coming down here. If there's something we need on Zoom, you might
Jump
put
on.
us on mute and
Yeah.
we got
Um,
questions, we'll ask.
That'd be
But
great.
somebody that's not here might have a question occasionally.
Yes.
So if we could do that, that still saves time, not traveling.
Yeah.
Yep. You good with that?
I am great with that.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
Just wanted to let you guys know where.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's covered. CAC committee set for tomorrow.
Yep, they're meeting, we did not, well, you all saw them at the November open house if you were able to attend. So we didn't have our regular CAC meeting in November. So we're actually having our little pitch in tomorrow night with them. So you will see them as usual. We normally see them in July and the last meeting of the year. So
Okay. That was a big report.
tried to keep my section short because there's lots of other information this time.
All right, let's go move on to the director's report. Jesse?
Sure. Well, again, thank you. And I too am happy you are all here and alive. But we did have a very busy holiday season. Just a brief recap for you. And I literally broke it down into hours because sometimes it's hard to understand. But in 38 hours, we saw 705 people. And that's about 20 people per hour. And if you think about what we do, that is a heck of a lot of material moved in and out of our facility and a whole bunch of people. We had over 15,000 pounds of cardboard, over 2,000 or a ton of e-waste, and then all of the other materials. We can't unfortunately figure out HHW in the same way because it's all combined. So that makes it a little bit more difficult. But needless to say, we were very busy during the holidays. And it showed in our numbers. So in March, I will give you an overview of the entire year, but of course, that will only be really 6 months because we were closed for a lot of last year. So we're excited to see what this year brings. So with that in mind, we have tracked our hours, and we have done this now steadily for 3 years, but these past 6 months have really been good because it is all in one space. Because we're using forms, we're able to pop it into Excel. And so both Stephen, Addie, and I sat down at length to really analyze. Our hours have changed on and off, but for the past several years, we have steadily kept the Wednesday from a 10 to 6, the second and fourth Saturday from 8 to 12:30. And otherwise, everything Tuesday, Thursday, Friday are that 8 to 4:30 timeframe. And so as we were looking at the numbers, we had 2 questions. Are our Saturdays growing? Because for a while, they really weren't. They were steady, but they weren't growing. And what does that Wednesday evening look like? And we quickly realized, and again, this was just initial glance because we did not put all the numbers together like I normally do in March, but we quickly realized that very few people are really coming in on Wednesday from 4:30 on. And Saturdays, are growing by leaps and bounds. We cannot handle not having 3 people on a Saturday anymore. So we initially just upped Saturday from 8 to 8 to 1, giving the public back a little something. But then when we started really looking at the numbers, and we now have Addie as a full-time recycling supervisor and all of that comes with that job, we said, okay, can we conceivably at this point do 8 to 4 Thursday, 8 to 4:30, Tuesday through Friday, and every Saturday, 8 to 1. That would give us an average of 39 hours a week. It would also increase on a monthly basis, depending on how many Saturdays fell and so forth, about 14 hours a month. So I am proposing that starting September 1st, we switch to 8 to 4:30, Tuesday through Friday. We do every Saturday from 8 to 1. And again, that gives back more hours to the public. It also keeps us regular across the board, so people don't have any confusion, except for when Google tells us that we're permanently closed or we're the transfer station, you know. But other than that, it will give us a steady 39 hours a week. It will provide us with the ability to not have Addie, who is full-time, kind of be all over the place in her schedule, because some weeks we have to add hours places, some weeks we have to take away hours places, which makes it very difficult for us all. Right now, I have the part-time people to do this. My concern, as I've pointed out to you before, is that we run a very tight ship. These additional 14 hours are really what a part-time person, plus covering her lunch hours, because we're going to all rotate to cover her lunch hour. You know, we could really handle another part-time person. So as we run with this, as we look at the hours, as we see and come back and analyze in June or July, which would give us a full year, and that is also budget time. I suggest that we look at what that budget looks like and what the hours truly look like for our part-time people. Right now, I am blessed with a person that chooses to not work, instead of having kind of a college people that, you know, come back in the summer and leave throughout the semester. I kind of have a winter bird that leaves at winter and comes back the rest of the year. And thankfully, we had an employee that left us about 1.5 years ago who was excellent. She left for personal reasons. And she has been able to come back to us. And she too is a retired person. And so she's able to, she wants winter hours, and she wants to slow down more in the summer when the other person wants the summer hours. So right now we kind of have 2 people that equal 1 full-time person, or excuse me, 1 part-time person. And so that works us great, especially where we are a little bit, well, my staff would be so mad if I said this, but a little bit slower in the winter because we haven't been. It's been crazy. So again, I think this is very doable. I think this gives the public more of what, you know, we hope they want, which is us to be open every Saturday. It really changes very little throughout the week. It just adds that every Saturday instead of the 2nd and 4th Saturdays to our schedule.
Thoughts?
Sounds reasonable to me.
Very good.
The addition, having it open every Saturday.
Yeah.
I think the consistency will be great for everybody.
And when will this start, Jesse?
February 1.
You said September, that's why I was gonna.
Yeah, I guess it's September. That's I heard September. I was like, on here, man.
No, sorry, February 1.
Okay.
I don't want 2026 to kind of get moving, but not that fast. But yeah.
So everybody good with the additional hours and
Yeah, like. makes sense.
openness? I think it's new facilities kind of taking off a little bit easier in and out.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll tell you, and I've mentioned this before, but it is becoming more and more prevalent, and I think Wes is going to speak to this a little bit. I mentioned that the shutting down of bins in Marion County, right on the line of which everybody thinks that it's Greenwood and it's not, would have an impact. We are seeing that impact. It is huge. And we probably on average get 3 or 4 calls a day. That's specifically, now what do you take? I used to take my material to X, and we know exactly where X is, and we know what X looked like. And so, you know, we are doing our best to educate these people, but every day it's more and more people coming down from the north, which is great. I mean, that's why we're here. But it's really adding to those numbers, and I know we're going to see that, so, but again, good problem to have. I'm glad people are using us, so.
And are your barricades still working so they're not just dumping trash over into the dumpsters?
The barricade problem has more to do with people going the wrong way because they don't want to listen to us and or read the signs. So Wes, were you gonna talk about that a little bit? Okay, Wes was gonna talk about some of the options that we're looking at to stop because it's bad. It's bad from people in cars. And boy, when they see us trying to go after them to stop them, they try and go even faster, which is the wrong thing to do. It's not that big of a space to try and stop people from getting smacked head on from the people coming out of the building that won't be able to see them at all. So I think we have a couple of ideas
Okay.
on that. So.
All right. Anybody got any other questions for Jesse?
No, good job.
It's Coy again. Mrs. Coy.
This is a.
This guy, this is dangerous right here.
You're not really sure.
What do you think the over under is on this?
I'm just watching the clock.
This is, may I?
Yeah, that's.
And other, the only reason that I asked first is, this was put on the agenda under Jesse at first and then moved to Angela. We didn't think it appropriate for Jesse to present it because it deals with employee benefits. Okay, and as one of our 2 full-time employees, that may look like a potential conflict. With regard to Angela, God bless her, her public service is taking over for Pat. And Pat was the one who actually established these programs. And so we put it under her to do that. But I thought I could help with maybe some historical background to make it relevant and why we're asking for what you're asking. As you all know, Solid Waste Management District, even though it's called Johnson County Solid Waste Management District, is a creature of statute created by the legislature statutorily. And as a result of that statute, designated board members, you all, are created by the statute itself. 3 of those board members, of course, are our county commissioners by virtue of the statute. So when the district was created, even prior to me, the county commissioners that were then on the district, even though we are a completely separate taxing entity, even though we have our different budgets, even though we aren't really a county entity, desired with the consent of the remaining board members to make it closely resemble the county in terms of benefits and things of that nature. And so oftentimes they would even confuse it, under the county. So we did it. So that was the history. County employees, as well as the individual employees in your particular entities, are subject to and do receive PERF. Solid Waste Management District employees do not. There's nothing that prohibits it, but the board at that time, and again, this is decades ago, before me, decided that they didn't want to create an interlocal to do with the county, to go into the PERF and do with the Indiana State. So they created a pension fund for the solid waste management full-time employees. At the time, and actually when I first came onto the board, we had 3 full-time employees. We had a director, we had an education coordinator, and then we had the executive assistant, which is essentially what Carla fills that role. When Jessie was hired, she believed that with some of the advents of the things that we've been doing, we could consolidate those 3 full-time employees down to 2 full-time employees and then fill in with part-time employees in other areas. And I think that's,
No, we have 4.
you have 4 part-time or 4 full-time employees
With the center opening.
with the center open. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. But we have right now 4 that are
And the,
participating into our benefits plan. So it started with 2, it's now up to 4. Thank you for the clarification. Originally, the plan that was created was a 457B public sector. I am not an expert in this, so I've talked to our administrator of it, and Angela was also on the call with us. That's why we're here together. The plan that was created is a 457B retirement account. Pension, it's not a pension plan, retirement account. it, for those of us in the private sector, that is roughly equivalent to a 401k. 457Bs are limited to public sector entities. And that was the plan that we've had all along since we created it at the beginning of the district. Pursuant to the terms adopted by the board at that time, the employer's contribution is 11% of the full-time employees' gross salary. And that's what we've been doing.
It's 11.2. It's whatever the county has to give to.
So it mirrored the county, but it's not a perf. It mirrored the county. We have continued that forever. A problem has, or not a problem, but an issue has arisen. The problem with 457Bs is the employer's money goes into the 457B. And if an employee contributes to the 457B, that's where their money also goes. And unlike a 401k that we have privately, when the employer's money goes in, it erodes the amount of money that the employee can put in voluntarily matching. So for instance, and here's the number she's going to come along. For instance, an employee can contribute up to 24,500, I believe, this year of their salary into a retirement account, right? Pre-tax. They could do 24,500. In a 401k, that is not eroded by the employer's 11.2% match. In a 457B, it is. So because they're all in one account. And because they can't tell it apart. They can't. We got this from Eric at Nationwide, who administers our plan for us. He is the plan administrator for the public sectors, and he is the public sector specialist in this regard. So in my example, if the county or the solid waste management district puts in its employer funded, let's say it's 10,000, so I can do the math here. Okay. Their 10,000 amount, then the employees may only put in another 14,500. Whereas if they were in the private sector, again, the employees could put up to 24,500. That is helpful for certain employees who maybe want to tax shelter some of it, or as we age, want to catch up from prior years, but they couldn't do that. So how do you solve that problem? There are now provisions. And when I say now, I'm not sure when they were adopted. It was never really an issue, but it's now become that the statistics tell us that more and more employees are trying to max their contributions for tax purposes. And so the vehicle that is created is doing a 457B and what they call a sidecar plan of a 401A. The 401A is where the employer money goes. The 457B is where the employee's money goes. And that way, the employer's money goes into the 401A and it's restricted. The employee can't borrow against it, can't loan against it or anything of that because it's the employer money, doesn't change. But the 457B is where the employee's money goes. So that is what has brought these documents to you. I asked these questions, and Angela, and again, we were on a conference call. Does that change in any way the responsibility or the cost associated to the employer? And the direct answer on numerous occasions was no, because the amount that we are required to pay continues to be based on the gross income of the employee, not what they set aside. So if they set aside 1,000 or it's not a matching, that kind of thing, it's up of their gross income. Now, clearly, if you raise someone's salary, it's going to change, but that's applicable anywhere else. Are there more administrative requirements? Not really. We're so small that they're just the funds that sit there together. They're tied together, but they're separate accounts. An employee could, under a 457B, then go take a loan out, like some employees do against their 401. If they wanted to, they could contribute more, so on and so forth. I saw a councilwoman's hand go up.
Are they going to charge the employee to manage that fund?
I was not told that. No, it's all. Yeah.
Never been charged.
No, we've never been charged. They just have access to the money, right? So that's where they get their money.
Okay.
Because they have access to the money. But no, they are responsible for administrating the plan and for requiring record keeping purposes for IRS purposes, and that kind of stuff. That's what Nationwide does for us. Angela does not do that. I don't do that. Neither one of us are benefit specialists, but that's what they do. So that's what's caused this to come forward to you. Because if Jesse or Carla or any of the other two wish to do their catch-up payments or wish to do anything else, they're somewhat limited. And if they do it without knowing that, they can have some adverse tax consequences associated. I will defer then to anything that Angela thinks I've not added to it, but that's what's caused us to be here and ask for your permission. The previous plan was established by the board and signed on by the executive director. So the plan documents would be signed by the executive director, but we didn't want Jesse to do that without a board parts of the minutes authorizing her to sign on those plan documents. So Angela?
I think the only the only other item I would add is because of the one big beautiful bill, if you're over 50 and you can contribute more, that catch up has to be a Roth component. And currently we do not have a Roth component. So we have to amend our plan anyway to add that piece to it.
And when I asked that question, or Angela and I both asked that question, that also does not increase any charges. They're just administered. So I truly, that's why we had the conference call, kept saying, okay, what's the catch? What's the catch? You know, where, how's it going to affect the district and its funding? I have yet to hear anything that changes what we're doing. It just is a benefit for the employees. Question was, well, why is this coming up now? I think Angela asked that. Why is this an issue now? Why weren't we doing it before? Frankly, we haven't had employees that have been contributing, and anecdotally, Mr. Eric, I don't remember what's his last name, Sontag, who is our plan administrator, said statistically, we are seeing more and more people who are putting more and more money away in retirement accounts. And so these are becoming more and more popular amongst the public sector. They're having these, what they call them in the industry, sidecars, the 401s, where you just stick the employer money.
It's attractive if you're trying to hire new people. It's what do you call it?
Perk.
A perk.
This is nothing more than a structure change.
That's right. It's a structure. Yes, sir. It's a structure change. It does not increase our liability. The only thing that increases our liability is if we increase salaries
Correct. But you got that,
based on that 11.2%.
you've got that regardless, right?
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct.
I feel like I should get continuing legal education credits for this.
Investment strategy.
You get what you pay for. I have to tell you, that's the beauty of being a lawyer in a town like we are, you know, I'm jack of all trades, but
Now, this is
an
interesting.
expert in none. And so that's why we had that conference call.
And Jesse would sign off on this plan with our
With your
authorization.
That's correct. And it would be two components. It's the creation of this 401A as well as authorizing the Roth option because of the change. And Andrew was already on top of the Roth option. I mean, that's what it- and then that's when this 401A came out, so that we put it all together. Yeah, and there's election form. There.
Any other questions or thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's good.
The only thing I would ask with the executive director signing off on this instead of having a board sign off on that, is that, I guess from a legal standpoint, I'm just asking because it seems, you know, that she would sign off on her own plan.
It's always been that way because we don't have much, like the county doesn't have an HR or there's no.
We don't?
I'm sorry, I
Hey.
mean,
I take exception to
Yeah,
that.
we do.
specific HR.
I still take exception to that.
That's why I am that, and I being executive director, not I, Jesse Bickerman, it's always been that person because we have to be able to. For instance, the person that literally started the district 4 years ago, I had to sign off stating they were no longer there. They reached this time frame. They did all of these things. And we have to go back into the records to find all that information. So I have to be able to access those accounts to be able to qualify and quantify that information.
And that's.
From a legal standpoint, I'm just asking from a legal standpoint of her signing off on her own plan.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Or giving her access to her own plan?
well, she
That-
already has it.
I know.
Great question. That's why we're having this conversation. So
Yeah.
that we have a record of what she is doing and what the forms are and why Angela and I frankly stepped in to present it. So that if you had those kinds of questions from an administrative standpoint, problem with being such a small district and having a board that you're also busy and we have irregular board meetings, oftentimes is there maybe a lot of little things like this check, where does this check go, that kind of thing that makes that was the theory behind having the executive director do those administrative things with our administrator when it was established.
Okay.
Which is why
Yeah.
my first instinct is Roth issue. Angela, we
Call
have
it.
this Roth issue. How do you want me to proceed? So 401A, Angela, we have a 401A issue. How do you want me to proceed? It's written that way right in our internal controls. I just can't make that change.
I mean, I think if you
No.
wanted to sign off on it, she can still have access to all the accounts as the director, executive director. So if you wanted,
We've always tried to put safeguards in from the county. You know, there's multiple people that look at different things. I just,
her admin access. I mean,
yeah.
My plan at work, I'm not the admin. Maybe I should be, but I'm not. So I still think you could sign it. If that, and she'd still be the admin and she could still do what she needs.
Yeah.
Now, my only concern about that is as elected officials, are we going to have to always,
Yes,
so, yeah.
but you can do it, right? You can
Do it now,
Yeah.
and it's that way countywide right now. I mean, we only have 4-year stints as you're elected.
But in terms of creating this, if you wanted them to sign off on, they could do that.
I'm asking for board input on this. I mean,
I'll be honest with you, I'm indifferent. And the reason I'm indifferent is because however the board directs this change to happen is the way it's gonna be done. So you have full transparency on it. So to me, it's 6 and 1/2 dozen. The other
Okay.
hand, we're not having by resolution an individual, we're having a position. So whoever's in that position, then going forward be who signs it.
let's have that sign.
That was the thinking when it was created, but obviously you're now,
Yeah,
you're the decider. Yes.
somebody.
Yeah, I'm okay with the executive director handling these things.
Yeah. No, I'm just asking
Great
questions.
Great
That's
question,
good.
great question. Probably why we're having this conversation, which is more than what we usually do.
Hey, Casey?
Yeah.
What direction do I go? Yeah.
Take a step. Just-
Yeah, I'll take them. I'll take a stab. I move,
Take the stab.
I'm gonna take the stab. I move to authorize the executive director to execute the plan documents for the 401A as well as anything necessary to make changes to the 457 plan to facilitate the Roth contributions.
Second.
Spoken like a true lawyer, sir.
We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you,
There we go.
appreciate it.
Thanks for
Good
bringing.
conversation.
I learned a lot. I'll forget it next week, but I knew it then.
Miss Gray, you're up.
Oh, I am. These are rather routine. You have seen these before. Let me go back to my agenda. Moving things around. The first is the resolution 2601 compliant with anti-nepotism law. Resolution 2602 is the prepayment of claims. I believe we talked about the prepayment of claims. We typically do this because of our meeting schedule. We bring them to you, but this allows us to pay the regular routine bills that we have. Then we bring them to you and you ratify those things. So there should be an attachment of those which are routine, regular fun.
We've also had quite in the past 6 months, and I'm sure the county is experiencing this too, where somebody is taking the check and changing it, not someone, the right company is taking the check and changing it to an EFT. And so we definitely want to make sure that we have controls in place for that when that happens, because we're then having to go back and void where if we have them on prepay, like our insurance, for instance, this is more specific to what we've been seeing with our insurance. We're able to just keep that going, instead of having to wait out that check every single time.
Some of these, I don't know if you've looked at it, this is just off the cuff, maybe some ACH setups with Caldwell's, different things instead of transfer checks, because checks have a tendency to disappear. I mean, I'm just bringing it up to talk about it. It just saves on the paper and risk of postal theft, which I've been a
I wonder
victim
what,
of.
I do wonder what the over under is on the elimination of checks, because it's not gonna be,
You're
we're
probably
not too
getting,
far away.
you're not too far away. So, okay. Thank you. Anybody got any questions for Lynn?
I do need approval of those resolutions if they are acceptable. That would be resolution.
Sign off, they're in your packet, so you can sign off on them. Look at them and sign off on them.
So do we need a ceiling limit on what the amount that they can sign off on? Not so much the end of it, but the.
Are we talking about prepayment claims?
I mean, at a certain point, should we kind of put
A
a
lot of the
buffer in there?
payment stuff, I usually come in and sign with Carla, so I see
Oh,
all the
yes.
vouchers. And then I sign the checks and I set up different meeting points with Carla throughout periodically when she needs checks signed, so they're just really
We
ratified
still
back
have
at this.
duplicate sign.
Yeah.
And
two signatures.
So I usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Myself or Mark Myers usually meet and either.
Great question. I should have said it. We do have two signature requirements.
Okay,
This just allows us to pay them before the board.
and I understand that, yeah.
Yes, but great question.
So. Mr. Harrison, we'll let you go ahead.
Wait,
Oh,
I
okay.
need approvals of resolution 2601 and 2602, and then the legal and accounting services agreements.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-01.
And 20,
Oh, you want to do them together? I was just gonna do them.
Yeah,
And
yes.
resolution, I'm sorry, number 2026-02.
Second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. There you got it, and they're in your packets of sign. Mr. Harrison?
And one more,
Christmas, we're at your one.
you would probably be doing, well, I shouldn't say that, but the other thing is, do you wish to retain an attorney and or an accountant for the coming year? So those are the agreements that are before you under the same terms and conditions before. I send it to Angela for her approval. I did not hear anything back.
She's here in person, so she's good.
That's right, so I assume at the rate continues to be $160, which you're not getting a bargain on the legal services at $160, but I can tell you personally, you're getting a heck of a bargain for someone with a CPA qualifications that'll do it for $160. So you can make your own decision regarding legal services, but I would highly recommend you.
I move to approve the county services agreement for both legal and accounting.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same.
Thank you, sir. I've taken too much of your agenda.
No, you're fine. You're hired again for another year, 2026.
Aye.
Mr. Harrison, that building update.
Yes, this may be my final update because our building is complete and we had a nice dedication and open house back in November and I very well attended. And I think everybody that was there enjoyed seeing the building, and as Jesse and Carla can attest to, it's very well used so far. So as with any new construction, we've got little issues. I think traffic patterns more than anything, and it's well shown on the pavement and there's plenty of signage, but people still are going in directions they shouldn't go in. So I'm meeting with them to understand either temporary barriers or more of a permanent gate that can be open and shut that will help direct traffic. And we've got a punch list of about a half a dozen small items to deal with the contractor, and they've submitted their final payment, which I will process eventually. I'm not in a huge hurry to do that because they weren't in a huge hurry to get our building done. So we're kind of playing that game a little bit right now. Yeah. So, but overall, I think the building, I know Kevin's been out, and I encourage the rest of you to come out and see it. And Lynn was there at the dedication. It's very nice and very well organized. I think something the county should be proud of, and obviously going to be used to death, I think, over the next few years. So, passing blisters are in, asphalt's done, light poles are complete, Duke Power is done, and all that's good news. So, yeah. So, any questions from anyone? So,
Could put
Yeah.
those little spike things in when you rent a car.
yeah, we talked.
Go the other way.
Talked
You're
about
not back up.
Attorney would say no.
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna take a hard line like Wes. There's enough signs out there. You have to
Yeah.
just.
It is very directional and people just want to ignore it.
We got.
Have you been through it?
Yeah, we got a
Yes.
couple
We
ideas,
stop it
but
every
the
day.
spikes were a thought.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Mhm.
Nicer than the old place.
Yes.
Yeah, the spikes probably are. Last resort.
But it's been a pleasure working with everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to serve the county and serve the recycling district and the board. So appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for your
So,
updates.
yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's turned out to be a nice building.
Well, I'm out of line, but I'm gonna say this as a
Mhm.
citizen. I really appreciate your chairman running herd on this along with Wes, because we got a good building done quickly compared to other projects I've been involved in.
We didn't shoot anybody or ask for bail money during the process.
We did, so.
Isn't that true, Wes?
We're lost.
That is true.
Careful, phone calls, but.
Yeah, you guys were great. You guys.
It's been pretty seamless. So, well, somewhat. And it always will say this, don't always go with the lowest bid.
Yeah, good lesson.
I will make that comment. So,
I would agree. So, yeah.
That's
Lessons
why,
learned.
that's why it's the lowest, most responsive
Yep.
and responsible criteria.
but at the time we were venturing into the unknown.
Well, it's interesting because this building was right up that contractor's alley and they should have performed well. Understanding a little bit more about how their operation works, they were going through an ownership transition, and I think we kind of got caught up in that. And we, in the end, our quality is good. We got everybody in, and while the process was a little disjumbled sometimes, I think overall it turned out really well. So if we had to do it over again, I probably wouldn't pick that contractor necessarily, but it turned out in the end just fine. So, and most importantly, the quality of what we originally have on the contract documents is what we achieved. So, yeah.
Been a long
Yeah.
time coming.
With a little help from the mayor on passing blisters and dealing with utilities and non-responsive utilities and.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I'm glad we're not paying $250,000 in rent.
Yeah.
I'm glad the county's not paying $250,000 in rent. The district.
And yeah, I mean, that's a huge plus, because you don't, yeah, it got expensive, it'll be cost effective.
They did the long.
Long run, yep, building for the long run. All right. Got any questions for Wes?
Good job.
Thank you.
Wes always does a great job, can't say enough about him.
Yes, and I asked him to stay up here for the next thing, but also I would just like to say, I can't imagine where we would be. And I know that Wes didn't know much about recycling, but now.
I'll be loading up and stuff to recycling now.
He understands it all. So he has been an amazing person for us to lean on. So I cannot say thank you enough. And the reason why I have him up here under new business goes back to that $250,000 we're saving. But Kevin, did you want to talk about this, or do you want Wes or me to start, or
What the
no? Yeah.
snow removal?
Yeah.
I can let Wes, I'll let him start and then I'll probably finish up a little bit on snow removal.
We, at our previous site, snow removal was part of the rent. It's part of what we paid for. And now that we have our own building, it's on us. And the person contracted, I think you have a contract with
Yes.
him, does a fantastic job. I mean, he even comes by when he puts down too much salt a few days later and sweeps up the salt, which nobody does that.
Yeah.
So
He is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, so he's doing a great job, but he's not doing it for free either. And so over time, as you project out over the years that we're gonna have this building, it's gonna be an expensive adventure. And I'm seeing this invoice for $2,700 and I don't know how many events that calls for, but it's a few. And so in our bond, we've got money left over, and I know Jesse's done some research on UTVs, you know, a little utility vehicle, and have a blade on the front that would be used for snow removal in the wintertime, obviously, and then in the summertime, that's a pretty big site. It's, you know, almost 3 acres, I think. So there's an opportunity to have educational functions out by the pond. And I know you talked about a picnic area or a shelter where you could have classes out there. And to be able to get around that site, that utility vehicle would help too. So she has done some research on different vehicles. You know, the government has an opportunity to buy equipment through, and I forget what it's called.
Sourcewell.
Sourcewell, yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's got some prices on different vehicles. And so anyway, there is money in the account to be able to pay for things like that. But it's up to you guys to be able to do it. But at $2,700, we had really one or maybe two snow events and a few slippery mornings that the guys had to come out and spread salt. It adds up in a hurry, and if you project that over a few years, it's gonna pay for itself pretty quickly, I think.
Do we have, I know the bond was permitted to use for personal property, which is what this would be.
Mhm.
But was there a max on what that personal property is? And how much we could use?
Not that I'm aware.
Not
We
that,
should check into that. I don't know, this is the first I've heard of it. About the concept, but
To that point, what are the permissible uses for any unused bond funds?
and some of it was personal property, because we included.
What else?
Yeah,
Correct.
we included in that. I don't recall, because I wasn't bond counsel. Bill.
Our legal representative at the time did say we would be able to use leftover funds for things that were needed after the fact.
and I
But he never did say that there was a limit, just said that money available would be able to be used.
I know there was personal property was one of them, which would fall under, but other things like.
But it can't be used for like a budget deficit or operating
No,
purposes,
it can't
right?
be
Yeah,
it's-
that's what I thought. Okay.
Right, exactly, yes, sir. It can't be used, it can't be used.
Just square me up, bond counsel on this one.
it's
We had.
Barrett, William
Jacob.
Barrett, Jacob Bowman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Was our
Yeah.
local bond
Correct.
council, and B&T, Barnes and Thornburg was the bond council. And he was all local.
So Adam Sturwold.
Yes, it was Adam.
So
That-
as, I'm sorry.
So I guess it's actually, there's two things at play here. So I had spoken to Lynn as she was traveling, and, you know, said, hey, again, Paul is amazing. But is there a policy that can be set that kind of allows us, if we had some equipment, to do some of the smaller things? So, you know, we have an inch or two on the ground, we could conceivably get a path cleared, you know, before we open, you know, not a huge snow event, not a huge ice event. And I was advised to speak to, of course, Kevin, and I did. And we said, let's put this on the agenda, because I certainly don't want to set a policy, because there is none right now that I'm aware of at either the city of Franklin or the county. And maybe some of your local municipalities have a different policy, but not one that I'm aware of. But I feel that one of the things that Paul is doing is, of course, you know, he's pre-treating. He's doing all the things you would see at a commercial property. And if that's what the board would like us to do, then we'll continue down that path. I'm just trying to figure out, is this what we actually wanted when we set out and said snow, ice, mowing.
Right, because obviously for the rest of our entities that we're all working with all of it, we have a street department, right? You have a street department, so we don't
Yes.
run into
We
the,
have
you have a street
we have a
department,
street department.
you know, so we don't run into those things because they just take care of it. So there aren't any policies,
Wetlands.
1 inch of
Huh?
snow, what do you do? You know.
How much is the gator?
So right now, it's all in the quotes that we basically got back for a quality, you know, kind of taking away the top and the bottom. It was anywhere between 15,000 and 20,000, but that's with like the plow, getting the water tanker, the things that we'll need also for maintenance, you know, at the facility. A hitch to get, you know, a pull behind for a salter and a cedar, that sort of thing, versus a salter and a cedar, which is like $3,000 a piece, you know? So
Do you have qualified people to do it?
So
Um,
Stephen
Stephen has
proposing
operations.
to get rid of the snow removal.
not
people?
at all, no, because we would not be able to, we don't have.
Well, I was gonna say, this is gonna be man hours, you're gonna have.
Yeah,
to
no,
salt
no.
Okay.
What I am saying is, do we want to continue down this path where he comes and retreats and he comes and does all these things on the off chance that we're going to get some flakes of snow that causes ice? Or would you prefer to see us be in a position where we could pre-treat the day before? We could, if it's only an inch of snow, you know, handle that, and he comes when there's 2+ inches, or he comes when there's, you know, whatever, you know,
I don't know.
that's what I'm asking.
It's a de-icing, the chemicals in de-icing.
They just pre-treat.
Pre-treat,
What's that?
didn't used to do.
That means if you see an event
Yeah,
coming, you
but
pre-treat it,
what-
moves off
do you have to
easier.
Have certifications for,
No,
No, you have to be able to chew bubble gum and walk,
getting old messy.
and maybe not even both at the same time.
Is the scope of the contract, you know, it says like.
it's on call.
Yeah, but also the scope of work inside the contract is pretty broad, seems to me, like as far as the work he's done, Wes, as far as what you just said, as far as doing a lot, right?
Here, actually.
Well, yeah,
So, and he's
We
staying,
saw this.
all the things that he said, it's just that.
so the question is there overkill in here as far as nice to have versus need to have?
I think, Wes, if I might jump in here, because when Jesse called me, now I do recall the conversation. I apologize, I don't, because I was traveling. The question is, I would make it akin to like homeowners associations, you know, our on-call person comes out if you have 2 inches of snow or what. And so Jesse's call to me was, how often and when do I have it done? What's our policy? And I said, we don't have a policy. It's more of a You just- call, right?
You're in self ownership.
He just puts out, like, so that's how we're set up.
We are the.
But we could always change it and say, only come out when we call you.
That's,
What I usually do on a
Yeah,
lot of my
that's-
buildings that I own, anything 2 inches and less, I don't touch.
Yeah, I've seen 2 inches and all that stuff.
I don't touch anything 2 inches and
That's why
less.
keep coming what I just.
Yeah, he's coming in for flurries. So I mean, if we want to change that policy to 2 inches and either let them, you know, I can see the gator being beneficial. I'm not a big advocate for spending money, but
Or we
they've
might
got the
get through
lake
snow
out back,
season.
they're gonna have different things. They're gonna transfer water, they're gonna water, you know, if you want the plants to live,
Yeah.
otherwise you're gonna die.
uh,
So I'm just. We have the bond proceeds to do it. I mean, what is, Angela, can you tell us what bond proceeds, how much we have left on this?
By the time we pay run bond, we'll have about 200,000.
I thought I heard 200.
Yeah.
So
So,
the use of this goes well beyond snow removal. So if we got this gator or whatever it is, we can still take a look at the contract with the whoever the guy is.
Oh, yeah.
And narrow that down a little bit, which back to what Kevin's talking about, some kind of a
Yeah.
2 inch limit or something like
If
that.
there's anything in the contract, 'cause he's basically on
He's
call,
doing it.
that would prohibit Jesse from saying, I only want you to come out and do this and this and this.
anything over
He
a
could
2
do
inch
that.
event.
But again,
That's
without-
distance, but the gator's not gonna do it.
But we don't know what would be your requirement,
That's
because,
why we're here.
yeah.
We're owners now instead of.
I'll add is
I like the
that
2 inch standard.
in watching the public come through here, I mean, on dry, sunny days, they're still off the pavement and they're all over the place. So I'm concerned that on a slippery day, we've got to keep that in mind, that we've prepared it as best we can from a liability standpoint. And while everybody's supposed to stay in their car, some pull up in the front and get out and walk in the front door. And they're not supposed to do that, but yet they still do it. So I think we just need to be prepared for kind of worst case scenarios and have the site as clear as it can be because of the public. It's just seem like either they're not used to it or they're not paying attention or both.
And
But-
we have nothing to even do that. So to Angela's point, it's like, let's say Paul's in the middle of doing all these things and it gets worse, which just happened to happen the other day. Thank goodness he was actually there. Our entire left side, it's blacktop. It's brand new blacktop. It has nothing. I mean, it was a solid sheet of ice, even with that pre-treatment. So, I mean, honestly, in hindsight, I probably should have said, we have to close until this melts, because I mean, you could not step out of your vehicle as you exited our facility. It was just, you just took off. And he was there because he was coming for a second time to pull in. We had something to be able to handle those things. We can do that. But I'm just trying to figure out, I think it was 2 weeks later when we had that, it could happen. It could ice in the morning. He was also there, right? So that's what I'm trying to figure out. And if that's your direction, then I'm fine with that. I just need to know what the direction is for him. So.
Thoughts are welcome though.
So I'm okay with looking into the price of a gator, making sure it has the proper equipment, obviously enclosed, you're gonna.
Yeah.
People want the heat or whatever to go with it, to look into what it's going to cost. And then we can decide from that point. I think we need to get some more numbers in front of us, solid numbers in front of us. Before we say, yeah, go ahead and do that. And
Yeah, that's
that
great.
would be my suggestion.
Yeah, and I also would like to see kind of talking pretty general uses for it. What specifically might it be used for to justify the spend?
Right.
That's where my mind goes.
Well, we have nobody other than Paul mowing. So we have all those trees, we have landscaping, we have.
I get it.
Then
All I'm saying is
permissible.
just justification of the spend is all I'm after. And then we see that and then we have a frame of reference on what our decision point is.
Even a picture of it, proposal, what it's built for,
Yeah.
solid number.
Oh, sure, yeah, and I do, I mean, I have a complete folder, but we didn't want to, because we had permission, so I'm happy to. Go with your advice, make sure that it's enclosed, get the specifics, get at least 3 quotes, I think we got 5.
Get a water tank for the back of it.
Yes.
On all in view. And to answer your question, I don't know all the other types of, I'm sure it's operational expenses cannot be used with the bonds. I have no doubt that property and equipment like this could be used.
Okay.
If there are other things and you want me to inquire, look into it.
Now, my mind went to rainy day funds or operational shortfalls, liquidity, right?
Not with the bond, it's,
But
But you can't use it.
liquidity you can't use, doesn't do you much good, does
yeah,
it?
it does, it's there.
Where do you pay down the bond with it?
So. We're about to get like 4,
Do that.
minimal snows, right? An inch a night, and it's that light fluffy snow. My guess is that he would come and pre-treat if they say it's a possibility for it to turn to ice. So,
That's a hard prediction for him to make
right,
with an open pocketbook.
it's
Yeah, right.
that, then that's fine. I just wanted to show you where we were even within those, 2.
Jesse, is there a line in the budget for snow removal?
Well, it's all building maintenance.
That's
It's
where
all-
it is. It's
yeah.
not a specific
It's not,
line.
no, because we've never had it, we've never.
Well, yeah, but we anticipated it for this year because
Yeah.
you had.
Building maintenance, so, yeah.
And we may need a season to figure out where we're gonna be.
Right.
Don't
Right.
disagree.
You
Yeah.
may need us.
Trust me, I was just a little shocked when I got that, because I'm like, we haven't even really had that much snow.
You've had really 3 events.
Yeah.
I know. If I-
If you could also
Yeah.
know though, there's
I've got
mowing
so I'm
and it's.
going through.
Yeah, there's one mowing event, yeah.
Yeah, we'd looked at that earlier at a prior meeting, all the breakdown on that.
Yeah.
Tires,
That's fine.
snow
I will-
removal.
Again, he does great work, so
Thank you.
thank you.
So you clear on direction, Jesse?
Yep, I'll get a UTV quote with all the specs and bring it back in March.
Then we'll kind of monitor where we are with regard to using him at this point as he is, and you can kind of project out. into
Yeah,
the
we'll have a full winter's worth of numbers,
Yeah,
even though it has been light.
Well,
so
just
far.
not what it is, but what the need is, why you need it.
Yeah.
And documenting that some way. So once again, we have a frame of reference for a decision. That's where I was coming from.
I think that's great.
Okay. Clear? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Wes.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else want to say anything? Angela, you got any parting words you'd like to say? Because you probably won't see except for on Zoom.
Oh, you got a finance board agenda, don't forget.
I know, we're talking public comment right now. And with that, I would ask for,
Well, the motion to adjourn.
there you go.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion. Second. We are adjourned.
Yes, you are.
We don't even vote on that second. All
Hey,
right.
we gotta sign something.
Those,
These, fill them out, everything.
yeah.
All right.
Used to have people do that.
That is close.
Aren't.
Now we're going to open the finance board meeting at 3:02 on January 12th, 2026. And we have an election of officers, which I don't know who the officers are. Who are the officers, Carla?
The same slate, the board, which would be,
That is what.
chair would be Kevin Walls, vice chair would be Mark Myers. And
We'll make a
Ron is
motion
the-
to
Secretary.
approve Kevin Moles as president or chair. Mark Myers as vice chair, Ron West as secretary.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second.
Nice thing, you only have one meeting a year. And you're just about to
Yeah,
do it.
this is
You're
it.
just about to do it.
This is it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same, motion carries. Carla, discussion of financial depositories.
I think this will be from Angela, but if in the event there is anyone reviewing this in the public from Zoom, the reason for this meeting, as you'll recall, is once a year, our controller and our executive directors are to advise you as to where our investments are located with regard to our financial institutions, so that you may determine if there are any conflicts with those deposits. So with that, will someone please so advise our board?
Angela's back. See, she is in person at least once a year.
Thank you.
So currently we have all of our money at First Merchants Bank. At a rate of 2.83% is our rate of return, is that right?
Yes.
So,
For the past 6 months, they have been giving us a better rate on our checking.
because probably the amount of money that's in there,
Yes.
so.
Okay. Everybody okay with First Merchants retaining?
Like it. Good people there now.
To me.
Yeah, no, that, I mean, house there, it is. a lot better. Get rid of some people.
That one, that guy?
Yeah.
The guy? But we-
I would need a motion probably just to continue.
It didn't have much.
Motion to stay the same.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to stay with First Merchants. Everybody seems happy with them. Yep,
Nope.
everybody's.
I think
You know,
that's it.
I've not heard any objection.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. We are good. I go to David for the next one.
Move to adjourn.
Second. All right, we have first and second. We are adjourned.
We gotta do these.